Hello, hello. Welcome to the Get at Gaming Plus podcast. I am Alex,
I'm Ben.
and I had one of those like autopilot things where like I'm like, am I Alex? Like, am I saying the right thing? Do you ever have that where it's just like this isn't a good thing, but it's like when you're driving and then you realize, oh, I'm driving. Like that kind of stuff, like disassociation.
No, but I do find it funny, like when I'm yelling at the kids and I just like rattle off like five different names, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get my head straight.
It's it,
There are,
yeah.
but I see what you're talking about.
Like it's like acting or whatever, right? Like
Oh yeah,
this is acting, kind of, except not really. It's performing.
it's perfect.
Yeah, but like my mind is, for certain spiels and certain things, that's in a different place of my mind, so far removed that it's muscle memory to where I'm just babbling stuff and then it comes out. I'm like, oh, I did say that. And that's why I always say, if I ever say something in this podcast and people bring it up to me later, I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I said
Let
because
me
that's
tell
just
you
how it is.
let me tell you a trick of the trade that I use. I'm gonna probably break some secrets here, but my line of work that I've always been in is either been sales or business development or um, in those aspects. And so when that gets brought up of like, hey, we were talking about this program that you guys were doing, if I don't have a second to kind of get my breath and catch my thoughts, I'm like, you know what, Todd, that's a really good thing that we want to talk about today. So let's start talking about it now. Like, what were your thoughts again? Or hey, that's a really good thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that. And then it gives me time for my brain to kick in.
Yeah, yeah. Your
I don't even want
conversations with Todd Howard.
Yes, I don't even wanna tell you where I got that from. I'm pretty sure I got it from a movie. Uh,
It's from like Liar Liar or something like that. I was spitting.
no, what was the movie? It was like a movie where they were doing like it wasn't like a comedy, it was like a serious, movie. I can't remember what it was, but, like, it was like older movie and they used it, and so I use it all the time since a lot of times I
Citizen
talk to
Kane.
not that old. There are times where I talk to medical professionals.
Hmm.
And so, like, a lot of their questions are like straightforward, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" I remember they talked about it. Try to access it in my brain. I'm like, you know, Doctor Howard, that's a really great question. I'm glad you brought it up. It's on my agenda for us to talk about today. So let's kind of like jump in that and talk about it with what your concerns were. And then a lot of times they're like, "Oh yeah, here's my concerns," and then in my mind is like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." So what you could do, Alex, is when someone's like, "Hey, you were talking about this on the podcast." Hey, person. That's a really great point we talked about in the podcast there. Let's kind of like dive into that. And I can tell you my thoughts on that. And then that should give you time for your look at that.
Yeah,
You
look at that.
you listening to the podcast, you learned something. You learned one of my
You
tricks.
learned that if you ask me a question about the podcast, that I'm just gonna be like pulling it. Like, yeah, it's all fake. You learned that it's fake. That I don't remember things, and I have a goldfish memory when it comes to this stuff. But then when it comes to like, I don't know, music or I don't know, just random quotes from movies or video games or whatever, that's stuck in here. That's stuck in like over here. Like, why do I know the state capitals? Why do I know some of the countries? That's because of music. That's because of Animaniacs. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. Like, it's just it's stuck there.
Why could I do the line from Dumb and Dumber like straight with like no problems? I don't know. I don't know.
It's
Do I remember all my kids' birth dates? Probably not. Probably, probably not. Um,
yeah. I mean that's just what happens. That's what happens when, I don't know, you get older, because there's just certain things that get stuck in your mind because like that's what you prioritized as a kid, and so like those things are just stuck there forever. But then it's like, what's two plus two? Oh geez, 4. It's like, cool, it was 4. Whereas like, yeah, if you're gonna ask me, who created the Mother series, it's Shigesaku Itoi. So like, yeah, like that's a no brainer. Like, which one's easier for me? It's probably the video game knowledge than math, even if it is simple math. Just because there's just a certain shortcut there.
unless you're my 7-year-old, who is just ridiculously smart. One day when we're not recording and we're just on here talking before the podcast, I'm gonna put him on here and you could just talk to him and you're like, that's not a 7-year-old. Uh, and my oldest son's graduation, he kept hanging around the older kids, and I finally figured out why. And because he's at their speaking levels, right? Um, but like
Yeah.
when we were doing math flashcards when you brought that up, I said, "How are you figuring these numbers out in your head?" He goes, "Oh, I just memorizing the whole deck."
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, that's good, but you
Take
still
him to
need to know how
Vegas.
to. I saw Casino. I don't want my head in a vice. I don't. I don't need my hand hit with a hammer.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
don't
no,
need
I
a joke.
I agree because like oh yeah, this is a podcast where we talk about anything we want to talk about, whether that is tricks for learning how to think about podcasts and how to do things. See, I already forgot what we were talking about. Or talking about how smart kids can be. It's like baby geniuses or something, except probably actually funny. So or look who's talking. Yeah, wait, which one? Probably more like look who's talking. Let's be honest. It's not baby
Yeah.
geniuses. But yeah, no, to piggyback off of that, um, my younger sister, like it's kind of the same thing, right? So I was 10 years old when my younger sister was born, and then my older sister is 4 years older than I am. And so being around us who were older, um, she just had a better vocabulary than most. So it's like kind of the same thing. Like
Oh yeah.
if you're around older kids just in family, like you're going to just learn and develop certain things faster as well. And so like yeah, that's just a thing that happens, which is pretty cool actually. It's like a it's like an evolutionary trait a little bit, because it's like, oh, I have to adapt because all these people are speaking a lot smarter than I am, so I have to learn how to speak like them faster. And so that's what
Yeah.
that's what little kids do. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to know the language he learns from my older son's room right across the hall from him. He's probably learned quite a colorful language. Um, we'll we attack that when it happens. But yeah, it's true. So I was, gosh, so there was 5 kids in my family, and I was the youngest son, and then I had my little sister underneath me, and we were about 4 years apart from my little sister and 4 years apart from my one brother. And I picked up things super quick because of the 3 older siblings.
Hmm.
So, I get that here. That makes total sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, this episode is not about smart kids. It's not about smart guy. It's not about, was that Taj Mowry? Is that smart
Yeah,
guy?
yeah. There was a show I
See,
never
that's another
watched.
thing that just stuck in my head. Like, why is that there? I don't know. But
I I
he's a
I remember
smart
that show
guy.
because they had that show, and then they also had the sister to sister. Is
Yeah,
that what it
sister,
was?
sister, sister. It was with his
Yes,
siblings, the twins.
yes. And I didn't watch those at all. I didn't watch either one of those, but like it was, yeah, they weren't Steve Urkel and you know,
Now, I used to watch Sister Sister a lot, and I used to watch Smart Guy a lot, and then I used to watch a lot of those things were kind of like around the same time. I don't know if they're probably syndicated at the time that I was watching at certain points because like a lot of them were on Disney, and
yeah,
so there was another one that I remember too because Disney was doing a lot of like live action stuff to try to fit with their things that they stole from ABC, even though they are ABC.
but they
There's
stole.
something called like the Famous Jet Jackson,
Yeah,
and then they had a movie because I was looking at that recently with someone and it was like, oh, the movie is the finale. Huh, that's interesting. But like yeah, like stuff like that. It was like, oh, we're trying to make things that are similar to our TGIF or like our ABC stuff that we stole and when we brought to syndication, so they all kind of fit together, and then you don't know the difference. Or Boy Meets World was on Disney, stuff like that. Um, that's another thing I remember. There used to be like this really bad commercial on Disney where they would like talk about like funny stuff or laughing, and it was just really quiet, and all of a sudden, Corey Matthews would be like underpants, and then they would laugh. Anyway,
I got to watch The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody because that's what my older kids watched when they were
The
younger.
kid from Big Daddy.
I got to watch that and like a lot of those live action shows on Disney.
Hannah
And
Montana.
I'm like, yep, we watched that too. And I'm like, God, these shows are awful. These are not good. I mean, I grew up with like Family Matters and like TGIF, you know, every Friday. Um, preteens watching Full House and that and Step by Step.
I will
Uh,
say, like, yeah, their live action wasn't good at the time, or it was mediocre, I guess I should say. It's not necessarily bad or good. It did its job. But I like how we're not even talking about the topic, which is Summer Games Fest. But but their animation was good at that time. I don't know, like at certain points. So like Kim Possible is an amazing show.
yeah,
Like I think that show is one of the best shows that Disney has ever made for animation. Um, I don't know if this was on there. That might have been One Saturday Morning. I don't remember One Saturday Morning is like a syndication channel or whatever. Because like stuff like Recess or Pepper
yeah.
Ann or Disney's Doug, which is like not regular Doug. It's okay, Doug, but it's not I'm a slug, Doug. So that's the
We
only thing I
watched
remember about Doug. Is just I'm a
they
slug.
for the longest time they were watching Phineas and Ferb,
I don't like
when
that
they were
show.
younger. Well, that's before they got into the Cartoon Network stuff. So like Adventure Time, regular show,
Yeah.
Gumball, which it's funny how that full circle happens. So now my younger kids are watching Gumball
Okay.
and those things. We had to turn off regular show because one of the shows was like completely inappropriate. But I'm like, my wife's like, that show's inappropriate. I'm like, have you not watched Mr. Walterson run around in his underwear? I mean, that's like every episode, right?
It's every episode. Just things
Yeah.
flapping about. Yeah.
And then this is how you know you raise your kids right. There's an episode where Gumball is talking about like fighting or something. I don't know. I was like doing dishes and he powers up like Goku.
Yeah.
And my son's like, "Hey, Dad, that's from Dragon Ball." I was like, "Yep, that's how you know you raise them right. If they can pick out things that are mocking other anime out there, there you go."
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, that show has a giant T Rex for some reason.
Or has an upside down face. Like that show is really unique. Some episodes are fun. I mean, I guess all the episodes are fun, I should say, but like a lot of it's just not for me. But I appreciate the experimental art style. Like for me now, that's Smiling Friends because Smiling Friends is the exact same thing but for adults. The latest episode, perfect. The latest episode had such a good twist. It was so good that I don't want to spoil it on here.
I definitely think we could do an episode just talking about nostalgic cartoons for
Yeah.
us. Because I even when the older kids were watching like Adventure Time, I'm like, okay, I can watch this. And like even regular show, even like Gumball, I can watch it because sometimes I laugh because it's just so stupid. Nothing has made me laugh more than regular show. My life, the way I run things here at the house, I am yelling
Defensive.
like Rigby. No, I
Oh.
yell like Rigby all the time. Like, or like my daughter is actually Rigby. Like, I can't get my shoes on, and it's like they're
Yeah.
slip-on shoes. Now she's 4,
Yeah.
but like the other day she was screaming and she was literally making that noise that like Rigby makes when he like gets all frustrated. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my God, my daughter's Rigby. We got to make sure she does well in school. We can't go down this path of being this stupid.
I love
But
that
she's
show.
not. Yeah. But like I think we could totally do an episode about this just because there's so many good animation shows from like the last 20, 30 years.
You know who else likes good animation shows? Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I
I
love Muscle Man. Muscle Man's great.
I always loved how they call him Muscle Man, but he didn't have any real muscle. Um,
Mitch Sorenstein, I think is his name.
the only one that was anything on that show that kept everything level was Skips. Let's just be honest.
It's true. Mark Hamill keeps everything level. But yeah, no, we
That is
should
true.
definitely. We've had some things where we've ranked old cartoons. I think we've talked about certain old cartoons before, like Nickelodeon wise. It wasn't specifically cartoons, but it's like
Yeah.
because now I'm just remembering stuff. I'm remembering All Real Monsters. I'm remembering, like
Oh,
Doug, Angry
we
Beavers, Rocco.
this is not the episode today, but we should totally rank Nickelodeon shows.
I feel like we've done that though.
I don't know. It's been when you get past 200 episodes,
Yeah.
it's hard to remember.
Hashtag
I
humble
don't
brag.
remember
Yeah.
yeah. If not, we could do Disney shows. I don't know. I don't think Disney had very many
I
good
think we
shows.
just did. I'm pretty sure we did Nickelodeon. I think we just did cartoons of the '90s or
I
something.
think, yeah, I think we should just do like cartoons of
Kablam!
or like Nickelodeon or like Disney or
Action
Cartoon
League
Network.
now. The Flesh. He's super
Oh
strong
my
and super
gosh.
naked. Thunder Girl. She flies like thunder.
Because if we did Nickelodeon, we could go back as far as the 90s when it was big, up until some of the newer ones. Excuse me.
What was
So
the guy? What was this? Oh, Stinky Diver. They just throw him in the toilet. That's what they did. Yeah, yeah. Now I'm just thinking about old cartoons. This isn't the podcast for cartoons. This
no,
is we've wasted 15 minutes on this, but we were even gonna be like, hey, let's go right into the topic. You know, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. And then we're just like, hey, you remember Aria Monsters? Remember Oblina and Ickis and Crumb and whatever the what's his name?
the teacher that wore the high heeled shoes.
Yeah, Tim Curry. I don't remember what his name was because that was Tim Curry, right? Is that Tim
I
Curry
don't
as
know.
well? Oh,
See, now I gotta
I'm gonna
look.
look that up. Are you looking up or am I looking that up?
I got it pulled up here.
I think it's Tim Curry. I know Tim
My
Curry
phone.
is smashing while he's Nigel Thornberry.
Yep, Zimbo.
Okay, so
It
he is that too.
Yeah, but guess who else did they had on the show? Jim Belushi,
Who's Jim Belushi?
Simon the Monster Hunter.
Okay, that might have been like a recurring character because I know I vaguely remember that show. I wonder if that show's even streaming.
I think it's on. I think it's on. It's on Paramount.
Is it?
Season 1 through 4 is on Paramount.
Okay.
Dude, we okay. I know we're gonna talk about Summer Game Fest here. We need to get another person and do a ranking of shows from Nickelodeon. But we got it.
Oh, I found it. Okay. Real Monsters. Yeah, all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because I swear I've been watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? So my 6-year-old was terrified. I was watching it and he had to go to the bathroom. And it was one of the episodes. I think it was. So what's that? Oh, the one with the werewolf. I don't know what it was. It's not Fever Swamp, that's Goosebumps, but it was one of the werewolf ones.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so like he walked down when they showed the werewolf. And it's like to me, I'm like, this is funny because it's very not.
Yeah.
He screams, runs upstairs, and I had to go walk him downstairs before he wet his pants. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah.
But anyway, today is not about that stuff.
No.
You got 20 minutes of it, so I hope you're happy. Today is about Summer Game Fest. I think we called it Games Fest multiple times, but it's game.
Probably.
There's only one game of Summer Games Fest. Game Fest. And so yeah, that's what it's called for some reason. I don't know why. It's kind of dumb. But Jeff Keighley, the man, the myth, the legend, had Summer Game Fest on the 7th, and that was Friday night at 5 p.m. Eastern in the YouTube Theater over in Los Angeles. And so that happened. Right after that, there was a Day of the Devs. Then there was a Devolver Digital thing, which was interesting. Like they forgot to turn off the thing because it was a black screen for like 5 minutes after it ended. And then Saturday had some stuff. It had women-led games. It had future game show. I forget exactly what else there was, but there was I think it was like Latino.
Yeah, there was like a Latino
games one.
Games. And
there's one other Wholesome Direct, which is actually probably the best one on Saturday. And then Sunday had PC Game Show, PC magazine game show, and then it also had Xbox along with their Call of Duty, and then also Monday had Ubisoft That was a thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, basically, this was like our E3,
this is E3, whether you like it or not.
pretty much,
So,
pretty much.
and do you want to preface this by saying, I don't know, did we talk? Did we talk about the Sony thing when it happened, or no? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. We basically we have one episode where we talked about like what our predictions will be.
Yeah, but I don't think we talked about the Sony thing that
No,
happened like last month, because I think it just like kind of just appeared.
I don't think
Um,
anybody's really talking about the Sony when that happened.
yeah, because it was just it was
It was
okay.
meh.
Yeah, but we're gonna be talking about the Jeff Keighley stuff because that's just the way that we are. There's a lot of different things here that we're looking at, and there are a lot of different things that were shown off, and maybe we'll show some trailers. So if you're an audio listener, get onto youtube.com/getatitgaming right now. Pull the car over, go onto YouTube and watch it there. And then there might be people honking at you, but you know what? Tell them I'm watching Get At Gaming podcast on
That's right.
youtube.com/getatgaming. And then they'll be like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry," and then they'll be apologizing to you, and they'll give you like $500 probably. Disclaimer: they probably won't give you $500,
No,
but I'm gonna have trailers and stuff up for some of the things that we're talking about. So this is a podcast, obviously, but to get a better, a different experience, a more enriched experience, you might want to watch it on YouTube. Um, so in those posts, I didn't even talk about. See, this is how much of we're messed up today. YouTube's generally post on Fridays, and then we are a bi-weekly podcast where we post every other week. That's what bi-weekly means. I don't know why I described it. And we're something today. And the podcast is normally on Wednesdays, like really early in the morning. So you can have it for your early jobs if you need to download it for some reason. I don't know if you're driving, like I said, driving in a, I don't know, Amazon delivery, right? Like if you're a delivery
right.
driver, like, or if you're coding, if you're doing like just grunt work or whatever, like at like just office work, you need something to listen to. Why not us? And you can find us there. And enough stalling. We're just going to talk about Summer Game Fest. So I'm gonna pull up the IGN thing, and as always, because we have to complain about it, because as is tradition, we're getting this from IGN. IGN doesn't like to put stuff in order. I have
They
to
do not.
say it, otherwise Steph is going to yell at me and be like, "You didn't say it. You didn't say the thing that you always complain about." So
Well, it's IGN. I mean, at this point, this is what
wait,
is expected.
is this in order? This might
I
actually be in order.
Yeah, because I didn't personally. I didn't get to see Game Fest because I forgot, I forgot, and so I basically was just catching like just different things.
So I'm looking at
So
this, and it looks like it is in order, actually.
oh, look at that.
So yeah, we'll see. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get at it. So we're gonna talk about some things. We're not gonna talk about everything, but the first thing that was brought up is Lego Horizon Adventures. The game's coming to PS5. It also is coming to Switch
I, I mean,
and computer, obviously, like Steam and Epic Game Store.
right. I mean that means that there'll be sets and stuff to come out. I was just like, oh look, it's another Lego thing. So sure.
It looks really nice though. Like it
Oh,
looks like
it does.
it looks like the movie. Like that's how like The Shining and just the way that they're dancing around and all that, like very stop motion compared to
Yes.
other Lego games that are just Lego games. Like this looks like it could have been a movie.
Yeah. I mean, we just watched the Lego movie here. My
Mm-hmm.
kids had never seen it, and that's what it looks like to me.
Correct.
Again, now I want to literally state that Jeff Keighley already said lower your expectations because we're not going to have like a bunch of crazy world premieres. It's just not that year for games. So, I mean, I went in with that expectation.
I don't go in with that expectation every year, honestly, for this kind of stuff. I want more, but I know that it's, I don't know. I just know what to expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is coming holiday 2024. Next thing, I don't have a trailer for this, but we're gonna try to just go by fast on some of these things because we don't want to talk about everything because there's way too many things here. Quidditch, Harry Potter, Quidditch Champions. They didn't put Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy because they're like it's too big, so they ended up making it as its own game, and we'll see how it is. It looks. I don't even remember if we even actually saw gameplay. I think it was just all cinematics, and it looks
Yeah.
really cartoony. It looks more cartoony than the other game. So like, I'm wondering if this is a different studio working on it, maybe because it doesn't seem
Maybe.
like it's the Legacy people. But who knows? It's coming for PC, on Epic and Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. And it just says PlayStation and Xbox on here. So that maybe means PS4 even. So it might be a backwards gen thing. We'll see.
Maybe.
I don't remember this game because it was early access. Also, people, you're just seeing the Lego Horizon thing. That's because I'm not changing back. Um, there's No More Room in Hell early access. I don't remember this, but okay, yeah, this stuff is in order. Just the first couple things were. I don't remember what this was. It's just some first person
First person
zombie
shooter. Yeah.
early access on Halloween. The next thing, Peggy 12. Got some Star Wars. I don't think this is exactly. Yeah, this is from Ubisoft, so I'm showing a different thing. But there was Star Wars Outlaws, and they showed a tiny teaser trailer of Star Wars Outlaws, and looked pretty good. And they're pretty much just like, hey,
Yeah.
wait until Ubisoft, and then lo and behold, this Ubisoft stuff that I'm showing over here right now looks pretty good.
Yeah. I was telling Alex, I said, you kind of wonder where this is in the universe, like in the tale of Star Wars. But I got to see in this trailer, and this is no spoiler, they showed Jabba the Hutt and they showed Lando Calrissian. So this has got to take place before Return of the Jedi because of obvious reasons. It shouldn't be a spoiler about this many years behind, but Jabba didn't make it out of the first part of that movie. So,
Yeah, he was
but the
too
graphics look
distracted.
good. He was very distracted. But I love this is supposed to be an open world. They showed her on speeder bikes. They showed her flying the ship, fighting in the space. They showed her fighting on the ground, using her little pet thing to help. This looks really, really good, and I'm kind of excited for this one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, the next thing on this list, there's a Sid Meier's Civilization 7. My eyes are playing tricks on me, so I'm seeing an extra thing there for some reason. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the colors of this site. It's making it look weird. That's coming to consoles in 2025. PC and consoles. The next one, I don't have a trailer for. I'm gonna be honest, and you can have your son, I don't know, be mad at me or whatever. The next one here is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I don't care. I hate Tenkaichi. I hate those games. Give me a 2D fighter. Give me fighters. Give me we don't need Budokai anymore since Budokai is just a bad fighters, honestly. It was just
Right.
really cool to see stuff back then. Um like I don't like a fighting game that is like this. Now I will say the Tenkaichi formula and like fighting stuff is used for like the gameplay is used for like Kakarot, and I think it works there because it's a single player game, and so like it makes sense to do certain transformations, certain button things, and make it like that. But like for a fighting game, an arena fighting game where you're flying everywhere, like no, I don't think so. I think that's just too many variables, and I've never liked them.
No, I totally agree with you, and I told him this. I said, "That's my only thing that I have with him is you can evade by flying into the air, and then you can start throwing projectiles in the air, and like in a three-dimensional world." Fighters did something for me that I've not liked I've loved in a while. Is I brought me back to liking Dragon Ball fighting games. Not really into these types of games. Uh, like I know my one son still plays Xenoverse too,
Hmm.
like
It's the same
religiously.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. And so when I saw the trailer, I was super excited when they first talked about it. I'm like, oh God, we're getting fighters too, right? And then this showed up. I was like, eh. I mean, we knew it was coming out, and I was like, good. I mean, my son bought the top tier from Bandai. Good for him. I probably would not be buying this game.
No,
So
I will probably not be buying it as well. We'll see. Maybe if it's on super sale. But like the other thing I hate about these games especially and is that they always boast about how many characters they have in this game, and they're always like there's over 200 characters cuz each form it's its own separate character. So there
yeah,
aren't 200 characters. Shut up. Yeah, I don't know. I've never enjoyed these.
yeah. There's Goku, then there's Super Saiyan Goku, then there's Super Saiyan.
There's probably a
Uh, three,
Kaioken
yep,
Goku. There's Kaioken
Ultra
times
Instinct,
two, Kaioken times four.
Blue. Yeah, so it doesn't count. It's
Yeah,
the same person, just in different forms.
yeah, exactly. And
Um,
I get that like Fighters has that because for a couple characters, because like Blue versus regular, like those are two different things because they do different moves. But it's not like every single form has their own thing. Like I think that's just ridiculous and stupid.
right. I totally agree with you.
The next thing, oof, I don't like that face on this thing, but you guys can't see it. Is Batman Arkham Shadow. He just has a really weird, like fuzzy, like big chin, like in this thing, like the
I
preview.
mean, it gave me like Arkham vibes,
Yeah.
like the games, but then I knew this was a meta game. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And they didn't show gameplay; they just showed like a
So
trailer.
supposedly there's a deep dive or like some sort of interview. I don't know how many interviews and stuff there are, but one thing that I did find out, um, they're on kind of funny's YouTube channel. There should, I believe, there is like the developers there and talking about the game. So there might be something interesting there if you're interested. Um, and from what I've heard, it's that it's trying to bring a Batman game into VR as a Batman game should be. It's not Batman Arkham VR like before, where it was just like I'm warping from point to point to point. It's no, I'm actually playing the game and I'm in VR because we finally got to that point where like there isn't really much motion sickness. I guess I mean motion sickness always is, but like more things are more stable.
Yeah,
So people are less prone to motion sickness, so you can play these games in longer play sessions. And I want to say they said that um it's supposed to be on par with like the length of like an Arkham game. So
really.
or at least maybe the first one. Um so like it's supposed to be a longer experience. It's not supposed to just be like, all right, you did a couple things, see ya. It's supposed to be an actual like bigger experience. So
I guess my only fear is like, you swinging from building to building and then the fight scenes. That should be interesting to see how that works with all that.
mhm.
Um, so I would be interested in seeing it. I don't have a meta, the newest one. My son does, but I would be interested to see gameplay with it. I'll just say that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I like it how I forgot that I had my YouTube up, so I was like, I got distracted. So side tangent. I talked about this earlier before we started recording. I was like, there's some videos talking about the live action '70s Lupin the third movie. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me click on it for a second. I was like, wait, no, you guys will see that. So never mind. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Um, Next thing is Street Fighter 6. Fatal Fury crossover SNK stuff. When they showed it off initially, it looked like it was an SNK game, and then it wasn't. And so we're getting Terry and Mai And then we're also getting M. Bison. M. Bison is not dead. You can't kill him. He always comes back to life somehow. So he is there. And that's for the season 2. So those will start rolling out throughout the rest of the year here. The next thing that they showed is some Blumhouse stuff. So what's his name? Steve Blum? No. Steve Bloom. I'm
Steve
thinking Steve
Blumhouse.
Bloom. I forget his name. Mr. Blumhouse. He was up there along with someone else. And he immediately said that they're working on Five Nights at Freddy's 2. They're working on that game, or on that movie, and then they are entering the video game business. And they showed off a bunch of different games, essentially. Let's see, it says Blumhouse explained that its goal is to offer games for more than one kind of player. It kicks off with Fear Spotlight. But other titles like Grave Seasons, Sleep Awake, Chrysal, Theater of Idols are on the way too. So like there were quite a few different things that were shown, and it was just very interesting. They look very cinematic. They looked more like movies than like games, to be honest. But they look cool. They look cool
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, I saw that the what was that? That they were working on Five Nights 2. Just, I mean, we knew that was coming, and it's going to be out next December. So,
You know what else is coming? Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind. This is made by Digital Eclipse. They're the people who did the most recent Ninja Turtles game. And
yeah,
so it is a beat 'em up for this. So I want to say this is the first. Is this the first multiplayer beat 'em up for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Because like
yeah,
the SNES one is it's single player.
yeah. I think we were talking about nostalgia earlier. This hit a lot of people nostalgia. This, just
This
looking
sells.
at the game, it's gonna sell really, really well.
Let me
Uh,
go back.
you know, it looks good. It looks I mean, I'm just picturing like I'm already picturing who we could get. Me, you, Zach, all playing at the same time is pretty sick. And the only other thing I could think of is like they even have the opportunity to add other Rangers because there's no Green Ranger, no White Ranger.
I'm loving this. So for audio listeners, again, you should be watching this on YouTube as well. I love this mode 7 type stuff here, where it's very much, this is retro, but we're also going to make it 3D and do certain things that like like the tricks of like F-Zero like type of stuff,
Yes.
and so it looks very nice here, like this especially, but then it's a Technodrome, but it's not. It looks like the Technodrome elevator, but like this is a boss fight from the Super Nintendo game. And so with the skeleton man, there's this thing, and like the one thing I don't like, oh yeah, and there's like a Mystical Ninja Gundam fight. And the one thing I don't like about it is that the one thing I don't like about this is that I don't like the art of the comics. I think it's
Yeah.
not, I think it's not good. Or like it's just like it's a different style. I think it might be the style of the comics nowadays, maybe. I'm just not used to it. I'm used to live action. I'm used to more realistic. This clearly looks just very cartoony, and I mean that's fine for what this is. Like I kind of wish they didn't have those animations. I kind of wish they just did stuff in game engine,
Right.
because this looks so good that I think you should just do this, because otherwise you're gonna have another issue. And it might be in this show, I forget, but there was that one guy who like showed off this amazing trailer. It was so cool. I was like, man, I want to know what's happening with this person in this mech. and this stuff. And then the guy got up on stage to talk about the game in this RTS game, and everyone just turned it off. Boo! Like
Yeah,
it's just an RTS, and so
I saw that. I saw that and kind of funny.
yeah,
Um, but like, I think what really looks cool here is because we knew there was a new Turtles game coming out. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, you can play as Splinter.
yeah.
You can play as April. And then they introduced other characters. This is a perfect opportunity for them to introduce other characters as well. Because I noticed that they had like the Tengus was there, and they're from the movie. So, and then after the movie, they were in more episodes. But I mean, that just opens up a whole new level of
Well,
what they can
if it's
do in there.
Rewind, then there might just be they might just be showing Mighty Morphin, I guess I should say. But like you said, if this is Rewind, then maybe we're gonna see more series. Maybe we're gonna see Turbo. Maybe we're gonna see um uh was it not Lost in Space, whatever, Space Patrol, time something. There's two space ones. um
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna go so far into like the Nickelodeon ones, but for sure I think that they're gonna do like the nostalgic ones, I should say.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if you saw when this launches, you saw Tommy
Lost
somewhere.
Galaxy, or maybe
Yeah,
is what it's called.
I would think the only thing they would do is maybe their ninja Zords and their ninja outfits,
Hmm.
and then I would almost think Tommy would be there at some point. You know, um,
Yeah.
because we don't even have a release date for this; it just says coming soon. So
Yeah, I'm hoping it's soon, and I'm really hoping that we can, yeah, like you said, just play it together, because this looks like a game that will definitely be enhanced by playing with other people.
oh yeah,
So, uh, like this, yeah, I don't like that. Next game that showed off was a Gundam ripoff that looks okay. Um, Oh, apparently these people are helping with it though. Okay, that's interesting. So it's not Super Gundam ripoff, but it still kind of is. Mecha Break sets the beta test for August. Um, according to this, it says Takayuki Yanase, which is the Metal Gear Gundam and Armored Core person, and Junya Ishigati. Wait, Ishigaki, for Xenogears and Gundam as well. Okay, so they provide their talents to help design some of the game's mechs. But yeah, it looks like it's just a Gundam. It's Gundam Breaker, but instead it's called Mecha Break. um,
yes,
it looked kind of cool. There was a gun tank there, but he wasn't a gun tank because he also had like legs. So I thought that was kind of dumb. Just make him a tank. Um, but yeah, it looks fine. I don't remember this game, so I'm probably gonna go quick through it. The First Descendant. I don't remember this at all.
I don't remember
Um,
that one either.
yeah, it looks like it's a free to play shooter, sci-fi looter shooter. Maybe it was a commercial. Maybe that's why I don't remember. The next thing was Alan Wake. So Sam Lake came out and he was doing a jig. He was dancing around, and then he was like, "Hey, we got Alan Wake 2 DLC, and it's coming out less than 24 hours. So it's already out by now when you're listening to this." And then they also talked about how the game is getting a physical version. So there's a deluxe version that comes with Alan Wake Remastered as well as the DLC. Um, and I want to say it's $80, but I think that's a fair price for getting DLC and all this other stuff together for a game that's only a year old. Because this was, I don't know if you remember, but this is the game where they only released it digital.
Yeah,
And so I remember there was some outcry about that. And so they're like, "Hey, yeah, we know that you all wanted physical. So now we'll do it," essentially, because it sold well enough. Because I guess maybe they weren't confident. Because I wonder how Control's sales were. Because I feel like Control was on sale a lot. I feel like Control went on PlayStation Plus really quickly. I feel like there are just a lot of things, lack of a better term, out of control during that situation.
Yeah.
And so yeah, seeing Alan Wake 2 have a physical edition now, I think that's cool. I think we have Alan Wake remastered on PlayStation Plus. Like I think we got it.
I
So
know
I don't know.
I think I have it either on PlayStation Plus or Xbox. So
Yeah, I'm tempted to play Alan Wake because I've always heard really good things. Alan Wake 2 is gonna scare me and I'm gonna like be sad about it. But at the same time, I want to hear like that band play that music and I want to see all these cool little things. And so maybe I'll just tough it out. This isn't gonna be a stream, so I'm not inviting a stream for this. But maybe I'll just play this game by myself in the daylight with all the windows open. And because I don't want to be spooked, you know. But specifically with this DLC, they show a bunch of different characters, like fan favorite characters. They even showed the girl from Control in it too. So everything's connected, which means that like if you really want to experience this series, you're gonna have to play Alan Wake, you're gonna have to play Control, and you're gonna have to play Alan Wake 2. Because that's just the
yeah,
release order. And yeah, Alan Wake looks cool. I've never played it. Next one, I'm not gonna play the trailer, even though I really want to. Was Skate, and it was hilarious. There was no actual Skate news, which is stupid, but they got Tim Robinson to do the Skate thing. Did you see this?
I did. I was like, hey,
It's just I think you should leave. It's just a
yes.
sketch.
Yeah, I started watching that show a while ago because I was like, oh, hey, people were saying, hey, if you like Tim and Eric, you'd like this show. And I'm like, this is like a far stronger Tim and Eric.
I think I've explained it before, but like I think I've explained it on the podcast before for that show. It's like you said, yeah, it's definitely far stronger and weirder. Um, when it hits, but when it misses so far.
Very much so.
And like sometimes it's just not funny, and they just keep doubling down on it. And then maybe you'll get a chuckle because it's so stupid at the end of it.
Are you sure about that?
You sure about that? You sure about that? But this one was hilarious. So like EA has been doing this thing where it's like M Corp or whatever. They switched a lot of their skates and other like names to M Corp recently. And it was M Corp like dying essentially, and it's Tim Robinson there in the front just talking about how they're thriving and everything. My favorite part of that commercial or that trailer was when there are two people like yelling in the back, and he's like, "Oh, that's not about this. It's a father and son. That's a home matter." And just cuts right back to him.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to them, and you see like this guy like sad, like obviously getting fired by a boss, and it's just we'll be totally fine. It's just the way that he does his emotions, like it's so out of place and weird. Where like it zooms in, and he goes like grrr, like he's like faking it. It's just it's perfect. Like I don't know, I love his comedy. Like even when it's like really bad, yeah, it's bad, whatever. But like when like this was a hit for me. Like if this was a sketch on I think you should leave, then this would be a good episode.
Oh yeah.
But then yeah, Skate stuff actually happened, and it's in like double alpha or something like that, pre alpha. And so there's console play tests here soon, and you can sign up for it or whatever. But like, how long have they been working on Skate? You know, like why'd you even announce this? Like it was really cool to see Tim Robinson here, but like this didn't need to be here.
No, I think it was. I think at this point they were just trying to get anything for the show.
Yeah.
To kind of like maximize the 2 hours of the show. So I get it. They had to get something in there.
Next thing, just go by really quick with some of these. Valorant's coming to console now. So Series X and S, as well as PS5. Limited beta tests it's gonna begin this week actually. So yeah, take a look at that. Among Us animated series. We saw a little bit of that, just like a little clip. It's probably the opening, honestly, because no one talked or anything
Yeah, oh,
like
yeah.
that. Um, it was okay, but as other avenues have said, we saw the cast at the end, like in the credits. You have that huge cast. Use them.
Yeah.
This it's like I don't know why they didn't show the cast doing their own thing. You know, like why didn't you show an actual clip unless this is so far out that they haven't even recorded anything? Um,
That's my guess. If they can't show a clip, they're not. They're not there yet.
yeah. There was a thing though that was pretty cool, and there was a I forget there's some indie games and stuff shown, but they revealed Inner Sloth, which is the uh, developer for Among Us. They did so well that they created something called Outer Sloth, which is basically like they're basically becoming a publisher. It looks, and
Yeah.
it's like because they did so well on Among Us, they want to lift up other indie games, and so I think this was the one, and I might have saw it like the next day too. But there's one that was like a Tamagotchi type game. I
Oh
think
yeah, I
I
did see
think it
that.
might have been in this thing, this quick little thing. Um, but yeah, I think that's really cool how like indie developers are paying it forward, and like it's always just the Wild West out there. So why not help someone in need when you're able to? And so
Right.
yeah, I think it's really awesome. Um, they showed a little bit of this Dune Awakening thing. I don't know much about Dune, so I don't really want to get into it. But it's supposed to be a game, and I don't know what it's. Oh, it's an MMO. Okay, open world survival MMO. Okay, it's gonna come out. Oh, okay. It's expected to eventually launch for PC, PS5, and Series X and S. It's gonna be shown off at Gamescom in August. Um, Kingdoms Come, Deliverance 2. People I don't know if you've seen the reaction clips. People are just looking to be upset because Jeff already told us Kingdom Hearts wasn't going to be here. There were so many reaction clips of people where they hear him say like a series, something a long time coming, Kingdom, and then people are freaking out. And it's like, come Deliverance too, and then they're all mad and like fake rage or whatever. It's
Oh
stupid.
yeah.
Um, because it's like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is not going to be here. It's obvious. Kingdom Hearts is not going to be here because we don't have the mobile game yet.
No.
But yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Trailer was shown. It's no release date, but it's still supposed to come out this year sometime. On Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Slitterhead? I don't remember this.
I
Oh
remember this.
yeah, the Silent Hill
Yeah,
type thing. Yeah, that was
it's weird,
yeah. That
but so
was
it's
weird
fun.
for sure. Yeah, that was the one where it's like you're hopping to different people, and you were like, uh, it reminded me like Ghost Trick or something, where like which is
Yeah.
like an old DS game, where like you are a soul and you're like hopping to different things to control them, which is really interesting. Um, I'd be interested to play this because I don't like horror in the sense, but I like certain like thriller horror or like Japanese horror. I think is really nice. So like the Tango Gameworks game, I forget what it's called, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yes.
I liked that from what I played. I had to fix the controls, but once I fixed the controls, I was like, oh, this plays really nice. Um, so yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this. I again, when I say that I'm looking forward to a game, I'm not streaming this horror game, so don't ask. I'm gonna play it by myself. I'm gonna play it in broad daylight. I'm gonna open the windows. I'm gonna shine the sun on me, and then the bad monsters won't get me. You know. Um, they showed Delta Force Hawks ops trailer. Um, there is a PC alpha test in July. It's gonna happen. I believe they also showed some uh single player stuff as well.
Mhm.
We're almost done with this actually, so that's good. I thought there was a lot more, but I guess we're actually getting through it pretty quickly. Um, I say pretty quickly. It's already an hour-long episode. Killer Bean. Killer Bean is a weird over-the-top sandbox game that's coming out. It looks like it's coming out in summer 2024. We don't really know what it is, but it's switching between first and third person, and it seems to just be a weird shooter.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it looks really weird. I thought I recognized it before, and apparently, like other people did too. And supposedly, it's like a meme from a while back, where like there were videos of this Bean guy like doing like the Matrix essentially. Like they put him in the Matrix,
Yeah.
and so I guess they just made a game. Like maybe it was viral marketing. Who knows? Um, Wonder Stop is interesting. This is a cozy, supposed to be a cozy like farm sim type game, but there seems to be some sort of darkness and depression to it. Um, just kind of just like right at the end of the trailer, there's a lot of that. But Annapurna is publishing it. Um, and the Stanley Parable creator is a co-creator, I believe, on this as well. We saw a little bit of gameplay, but it was mostly just a story thing, just to kind of show like,
Oh yeah.
oh, it's a fairy tale cozy farm sim, but here's the twist, to try to get you in just enough. And I'm hoping it's okay. I hope it's good. I really like the Stanley Parable, and I like that guy's humor, because I want to say he's the guy. Was he the guy who made that thing with Justin Roiland, and they made that shooting like that High on Life game?
I think so. I'm not
Okay.
100%, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that he did.
so it's not Squanch. I wonder if Squanch Games is no longer existing now. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that was him. And so like I like that game for what that was, and then I really like the Stanley Parable. I think that is an excellent game. That everyone should try at least once. Um New World gets an October release date for PC and consoles. Power World's getting an update. I don't care. um Monster Hunter got a cool trailer and also said it's getting crossplay on all platforms at launch. So Steam, PS5, Series X and S, you can all talk to each other. So now I won't run into the stupid issue I always have with these kind of games where I buy the game because people are like, "Oh, I want to play it." And it's like, "Cool, I'll play it with you." And then they're like, "Oh, I got it on this thing instead now because I'm not playing on this console anymore." And then you're screwed. Whereas with this now, haha, I can play with you wherever you're at. So take that. You can't avoid me. So so
I think
yeah.
it's really cool when they do that. It's
Yeah,
like a long time coming.
exactly. Let's see, the next thing here that we got is um Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, which was like this really cool Capcom game. It's coming on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S. It looked like it's kind of like a samurai type game, if I recall. But it's also coming day one on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. A Capcom game coming out that way. Um, Phantom Blade Zero always looks cool, and it still looks cool. We're gonna see more about that in Tokyo Game Show, but yeah, that is Summer Game Fest day one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happens, and the way that these episodes come out, you're gonna hear about this in a while. So so yeah, sorry. But it's cool stuff that happened. Maybe you'll find out more things that happen by the time that you hear about this. Other things happened, obviously. I do want to bring up, because I don't think it was in the other thing, but like there's this cool game called Screenbound, where it was at like every little indie thing,
I remember
and
seeing this.
basically it is a platformer that you're also controlling the Game Boy thing at the same time. And so like you can get damaged by the thing in front of you. It's like they're invisible enemies. There's like you can grab that balloon there. And so like you have to pay attention to both things at the same time, which I think is really neat. It kind of reminds me of like a Wii U essentially, where like
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna have to like, or a DS where you have to pay attention to both things simultaneously. And so yeah, I think that's really really cool. Um, but yeah, that was the first part of this. Again, there were some other things here that came out, such as Cozy Games, and I don't know if this game was shown off there. I have to show it later, but there were some other games that were shown. There was one game that looked like Kill la Kill, and it looked really really cool, and then they just kept showing it.
I
And
remember seeing that one too. I can't think of the name of it, but
yeah, I took a picture of it too. It was called like here. Let me find it really quick. Um, I have too many pictures on my phone. Abyss Cross Zero or Abyss X Zero. I don't know if X is cross or what. Generally, it's cross for Japan, and it's supposed to look kind of Japanese, but I know it's not. So it could be anything. Um, but yeah, that was our first party here, and you know these events and stuff go really late, and
oh yeah,
so with that you need some sort of like energy and stuff to keep you on throughout the day, because like you know especially for these performers and stuff on these stages here, um they they need something, otherwise you know you have to be alert, you have to be just on your A game, and we are definitely on our A game thanks to friend of the show over here, Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a product here that we use where it's all natural ingredients sourced from the best suppliers. It's no sugar, it's nut free, it's vegan, keto, and paleo friendly. For me personally, I I tended to drink a lot of soda, and so I needed um, I felt like I needed just more caffeine, more caffeine, more caffeine. But
oh
then
yeah.
with that kind of stuff, with soda especially, you know, you just have that crash and you just don't feel great. But with something like Magic Mind, there is no crash. You just take one right in the morning. You could take it with a cup of coffee if you so choose, and you just feel great the rest of the day. What about you, Ben? What's your experience with Magic Mind?
I think for me, it was me drinking a lot of coffee and like out through the day of like having, I don't know, several cups of coffee, going to some places that are name brand places and spending the $6, $7 for another cup. And then at night, not being able to sleep because I had all that caffeine in my body. I think that was the main thing for me. Um, so when I started taking Magic Mind, that's when it really started to like, I was good through the day, but then when it was time to go to bed, no crash. I was like, yep, I'm ready for bed. Let's go to bed. So I think that's the best thing as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And we definitely enjoy it here. If we didn't, we would say.
We
So
wouldn't say
yeah,
no.
yeah, for sure. So but since they are a friend of the show, we have a special offer for you. You can go to magicmind.com/get at it games. That is magicmind.com/GETATITGAM as in Mary ES, and you can go there to get up to 56% off your first subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase with the code Get At It 20. That is GETATIT20. We definitely recommend it because we've been feeling a lot better with it compared to without it. It just definitely helps us with these episodes as well. We go pretty late with these episodes, so to have that energy and to actually do these and then not have, like we've said, like those crashes and things, or not being able to get to sleep. um just it's just a lot better with something that is with all natural ingredients compared to
Absolutely.
another brand that, will just keep you up forever and make you not feel good. um but if you don't like it, it's totally fine. Magic Mind has a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. If you don't like it, they generally refund you within 3 to 4 hours, which is really good compared to other types of companies. You normally have to, arm and leg for that kind of thing. But with Magic Mind, they are very good at what they do here. Again, that is magicmind.com/get at it games with code get at it 20, magicmind.com/GETATITGAMES with code get at it 20. All right, so our last thing that we're going to try to talk about here is the Xbox Game Showcase. I don't really want to talk about Ubisoft because I can summarize that pretty quickly after we do this, but there wasn't really much with it. I mean, there is and there
Right,
isn't.
right.
It was just bigger previews of things that we saw, like at this, for example. I just realized I don't even have any Xbox things queued, but that's totally fine. So Microsoft had, or Xbox had their Xbox showcase, and then they also had a Call of Duty Black Ops 6 direct right afterwards. I do want to start really quick and did I click on the wrong thing? I might have clicked on the wrong link. Let me grab the other one. But I want to start really quick though with the smaller one. So I want to start with Call of Duty Black Ops. So Call of Duty Black Ops was okay. There we go. Yeah, I clicked on a different one, but it's still from the same place that we were looking at. So Call of Duty Black Ops 6, they showed a bunch of different things. They showed that like Prestige is coming back. They showed all the maps that are coming back and how things work. I'm not a Black Ops person, but I thought it looked really, really nice. I thought the game looked cool. The thing that everyone's making fun of, and it might be blown out of proportion, is that it's supposedly 300 something gigabytes. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's true, because that might be including, because the way that Call of Duty works now is that like when you're downloading Call of Duty, you're downloading previous games as well, and they're all kind of molded into one thing. So like Warzone could have been included within that, as well as one of the Modern Warfares and like other things like that could have been included all within that 300 something. So we actually don't know how big it is. Regardless, it still is big just in general. But what do you think about Call of Duty as a not
I
Call
think
of
that
Duty
was like
person?
I think it was like the best way to start the show. Super cool. And I was watching it with my oldest son, who's a big Call of Duty player, and he's like, "No way." He goes, "It's been years since Black Ops, like quite an substantial amount of time." I thought it was cool because it takes place, like literally, it was showing like clips of, you know, former presidents, like actual clips and
Hmm.
things that were going on at that time. I thought it looked great, and one thing that is a common thing you'll see when we talk about this is they say day one Game Pass.
Yeah.
Um, that was like a constant thing through this whole thing, like day one Game Pass. Which the rumor about them raising the prices, uh, it's gonna happen, especially when you have like a game like a Call of Duty Black Ops game coming out this year, and it's gonna be on there the full game. Yeah, you're gonna get a price increase on Game Pass. It's just the way it is. But again, I don't play these games, and I'm like, I could see me pulling a squad together of some people and playing this.
Yeah,
Um,
especially if it's included in Game Pass. Like, why
oh
not?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, it does worry me about the big file, but
Yeah.
hey, I mean, files are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think the Star Wars Jedi game was almost 200 at one point. So
Yeah, maybe. I also did hear that with this game for the campaign, you have to be connected to online all the time
yes,
because it has some new AI, not AI upscaling or something for the textures where like the textures are stored somewhere else. And so to make the file size smaller, which is amazing. Like I wonder how big it would have been without this. They have to do some sort of resource management and have things just come from the internet instead. It's probably for like ray tracing and like other sorts of like bigger texture stuff like that.
Probably.
Um, but we're looking at this Xbox Game Showcase list here. It's all in alphabetical order, I noticed. So it's not in release order. It's not in what they showed on
Right.
the thing. So just kind of FYI, we're gonna probably go through this a little faster than the previous thing because I don't think there's much to talk about. I mean, there is and there isn't, but like there's 30 games here, so like we need to just go through them pretty quickly. Because we took too long talking about Rocco's Modern Life or whatever earlier. And so Age of Mythology retold, world premiere, first ever gameplay trailer. I don't remember. I really don't remember anything about this. It just says it
It
has modern real time strategy with visuals and gameplay.
it was an old game from a long time ago that
Mhm.
they've kind of done, basically.
Um, they showed off Avowed a little bit, but they didn't give a release date. And I think there might be a release date now. I don't know if that's updated within this, but it's still coming out in 2024. Um, yeah, Avowed's just been it's was it Obsidian's game, and so we've just been waiting for it for quite a while, and to no avail. And like now, we're finally hearing something. So hopefully it does okay. Hopefully they're not just sending it to die. But yeah, it's been a while since we've heard about that. Um, let's see. Let's go past the Call of Duty stuff. Cool thing. It got leaked, I guess, the day before, but I didn't see any of these leaks. Doom: The Dark Ages. It looks really stupid, but it looks really cool. Um, it's basically it's Doom in the Dark Ages. So like
Yeah.
it's very medieval Doom. He still has like his futuristic Doom Slayer outfit and like helmet and armor and all that, but he has like a Captain America shield that you can like throw around, and then it's also like a chainsaw. He has guns and stuff still, and yeah, it's just the Doom Slayer just in medieval times.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember when they started showing it, and soon as he picked up the gun, I'm like, "Yeah, that's Doom." Uh, it was more Doom. Just takes place in medieval time. I
I
thought it looked pretty cool.
I did like how, because the past couple of Dooms, you know, they're always in hell or whatever. I did like how it wasn't all red, like the color wasn't like we actually saw color to Doom for once, and we haven't seen that in a long time, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So like yeah, that was really cool to just see certain places where it's like, oh, this is actually a little bright outside. It's not hell, so it's not red and fire and all this stuff. It's a little different. Um, Next thing we saw was Fable. Finally, um, looks actually pretty good. We'll see how it actually gets, but I thought Fable looked pretty good.
I mean, and it's funny because this was the one that said, "Oh, be able to play it in 2025." I think that game's gonna come out close to the end of the year of 2025.
Yeah.
Like, it looks great, and it's great to get into the Fable, but yeah, that game's not coming out anytime soon.
Next game listed here, which is probably my game of the show. It's Gears of War E Day. This is the last thing that they showed off. It is a prequel to Gears of War. E Day is Emergence Day, which is where all the locusts and stuff came out from the earth and started declaring war on humanity and all of that. And it's really cool to see. You see Marcus and Dom very young. You see Dom saving Marcus. You see Marcus scared. Like there's just really cool things to see And like when you know these characters of like how they are in the other games and such, like very stoic and just very I don't know, just confident. And then
Oh
you
yeah,
see like, oh, they're young. They're young kids in war essentially, like their first war. Um like I don't even know if this is like the coalition that they're part of or whatever. You know, I think this might just be like they're in normal maybe they're just like normal army kids or whatever, and then
yeah.
this stuff happens and then they start to do the cogs and stuff. Well, I mean, I guess they did have cogs on them. He did have those
They,
dog tags.
I
But
think the crazy part was watching that locust just wipe the floor with them.
yeah,
You know,
because they're just not
I mean,
trained yet.
right? But if you go into other games, that's completely opposite. You know,
Yeah.
so I thought that was really cool. I think this was the we always use the stereotypical. Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
You know, one thing really quick because I know it's just not on here was they did. I don't think they did. Let me look double check. Okay, so they didn't. So they did announce that they have new consoles coming out that was not on this list here.
Yeah.
So they're doing a white Xbox Series X all digital, and the S is getting a bigger hard drive as well. And then they announced a special edition 2 terabyte Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And it had like the sparkles things on it, which was pretty much like the Halo one without the lines. Um, so they did announce those, but they were like super quick. Like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
we have these new consoles coming out because right after it, they did this. And so I know it's not on here. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I need to play Gears of War. Let's see, how many are there? 5?
Yeah,
I mean, or
five.
numbered, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I think there's five. The fifth one's the hardest. I will tell you. I've played all of them except for I've never finished them all, but the fifth one's really hard.
Okay, because I've only played 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and I think that's it. Because 4 was the first Xbox one, right?
Hmm.
Okay,
And they're
so
all on
so
Game
yeah,
Pass. So
yeah. So I'll probably play them eventually, but like, because those are games I always played with 360 era. I guess those are games I
yeah,
play with my dad because it's split screen. And I want to say even the newer ones are also split screen co-op too, which is amazing
yeah.
because you don't see that anymore. So hopefully they can continue to trend here and have this split screen as well. Next thing they have here is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It was just pretty much just a cinematic trailer. You saw some gameplay at the end. I'm sold. I think this one really sold me compared to the other trailers. I think man, now I can't think of his name. What's his name? Who's
Come
the
on
guy?
here.
Who's the guy who's
Harrison
playing
Ford.
him? No, it's not Harrison Ford.
Oh no, it's not. That's the thing that cracked me up is it wasn't Harrison Ford.
It's what's his name? It's Joel from The Last of Us. What's his name?
I'm looking it up now because I cannot remember.
How are we not know his name? Troy Baker. We made
Yes.
we made fun of him once about NFTs. How would we not remember Troy Baker?
Well, and
Uh
I gotta tell you, in the trailer when he speaks, he does a really good job of sounding like a younger
yeah.
Indiana
He
Jones.
sounds
The
almost like him because like
oh yeah,
Troy's really good at impressions. Like I've heard him do Christopher Walken and like other things like that. And so like he is a great choice to be in this. I'm curious when this takes place within the universe or like what they're because obviously canon not canon who knows with this
right.
but like I kind of just want to know like what are they what happened before this like is this before Temple of Doom, is this after Temple of Doom, like where is this because he looks young but he also looks like the first two movies young, you know, like I don't know if
Yeah,
he'd be the third movie but like because it's the Last Crusade. But I bet it takes place somewhere in those in that trilogy of movies.
you have me sold in the trailer when he would punch somebody. It sounds like the sound effects from the first three movies.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Which I was like, And I know that's like such a little thing, but that's like Indiana Jones to me. So
Yeah. Um. Well, like I said, we're gonna go through these kind of quickly, even though we keep talking about these things way too fast, way too long. Microsoft Flight Simulator, November 19th. Really quick, I guess, or not quick because we're gonna talk about it a lot. Perfect Dark. There's a new Perfect Dark. Finally, we finally saw it, and we saw Joanna Dark, and this game looks very much like a Dishonored or something. It's a first person game now, as or I guess it's still first person, but like it looks more RPG or Western RPG compared to just a James Bond game like how the previous Perfect Dark was. Um, I think it looks cool. I've only played the first Perfect Dark, like on N64. I didn't play the one on Xbox. Um, I guess I technically have it because of Rare Replay, but like, yeah, I've never played it before, so I have no idea what to expect. I just remember finding the alien or whatever. Um, South of Midnight looked really really cool. I love the stop motion
oh yeah.
animation. We saw gameplay, and we also saw just cinematics, and it's from Compulsion Games, the people who made We Happy Few. I never played We Happy Few, but this looks really cool. I'll definitely be picking this up, or I guess playing it on Game Pass if I still have Game Pass. Um, yeah, it's called South of Midnight. Um, Shows the main character Hazel using her magic powers and like she's just like able to just like fly with like nature essentially, and like just like this weird veil or appears, and like she can use it to like glide or fly or jump, like do a lot of different things. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool game. I'm curious how combat's going to actually be because we didn't see any combat
Yeah.
really. We kind of just saw, I guess we did see a little bit of combat actually. Now I'm thinking about it, but yeah, it was mostly just get from point A to point B. The trailer, and yeah, it's very stop motion, so I think it'll look really cool. State of Decay 3 got announced. People are really hyped about it. I'm not because I don't care. Assassin's Creed Shadows looks really really cool. They showed
Can't wait.
more. Yeah, they showed more at the Ubisoft thing. But it's dealing with Yasuke. Um and he's a really cool historical figure, and it's cool that we're seeing a Yasuke game even. Um yeah, I mean, I remember I don't know when it was, but there is some point it wasn't even like this showcase. It was like when they announced Shadows and you saw like a trailer or whatever. I remember you texted me and you're like, "So I'm gonna be buying this Assassin's Creed game or something like that."
It- I have not bought one since the third one, and I was highly disappointed in the third one. So for me to jump back on, which is funny because I watched the Yosuke anime that was on Netflix, right? And then I started seeing a bunch of stories and like, no, this was like a real person in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no way. So I started reading about it and I was like, okay, so now I have to buy it. They did show some combat, which looks pretty cool. Each player obviously is going to play totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the way he looked, he literally looks like almost like Ghost of Tsushima a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a ninja, so she is more hiding, more coming out of the shadows. When she does fight, it's very quick stuff. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. Now, I will say that these next games they show, though, these are all ones coming to other systems as well, but they're partners. So,
Yeah. Um. Let's see. I'm gonna go quick because I don't care about some of these. Adamfall. I don't know. It's zombie stuff. Um. Let's see. Or yeah, quarantine, stuff like that. The next one that looks really, really cool. Looks very. It's an RPG with time hits, but also has sort of like a metaphor persona style. Expedition 33. It had Ben Starr voicing the thing, so he's the you don't know him because you haven't opened your stupid game, but he's the guy who voices the main character in Final Fantasy 16, and it was just really cool to hear him speak because he has a very distinctive voice, and this game looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Looks really stylized, looks really great. It doesn't look like a game made by Western audiences like at all. Um, like this could go against metaphor. This could go
Oh
against
yeah.
Final Fantasy because like yeah, it looks awesome. Um, I don't know who's watching this or listening to this. I'm sorry. So the next one is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I don't care. I've never played a Dragon Age game. I don't plan on it. However, I will say this one looked more Mass Effect than the others. So it is more interesting that way. But I really don't care. So the trailer looked interesting because it was like I'm building a team together, and it like did like that kind of stuff where it's like, oh, we got the archer, we got this person, we got this person, and the cinematic trailer is really cool that way. But and then I saw some of the other trailer from earlier, like today or yesterday, like the first look thing. But I really don't care. So
The last one I played was for PlayStation 3, I want to say. And, it was a lot of like choosing, what you do and people you talk with. And I remember I slept with like an elf and I caught some weird disease from it. So, word of the wise, don't sleep with elves in the game.
where
It
the
affected
wise.
me during combat.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, it was not fun.
Um. Next thing, Flintlock: Siege of Dawn. It's coming out July 18th. Um, I don't remember what this is. Oh,
I,
it's a
re-
Souls game.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember now. Look okay. Um, Fragpunk was like a new FPS type thing, 5v5 hero shooter. Actually looked pretty cool.
yeah.
I don't think I'll ever play it, but it looked cool. Um, Life is Strange. You're all gonna hate me. I hate Life is Strange, but I will say it's not Don't Nod anymore, right? Or whatever. Like
No.
it's some other developer now. And I
Hmm.
will say, like, it looks not. It fixed the problem with Life is Strange for me. I don't mean to be a bad person or a mean person. I hated the art style for Life is Strange. I hated the engine that they used for Life is Strange. Like it always looked last gen, even when it was on PS3. It looked
Yeah.
last gen, and then they kept it, and then they did a remastered, and it still looked that way. It looked better when you look at side by side. It still looked bad, and this is some mix between it's stylized, but it looks clean, I guess I should say.
Yeah. I thought it
And
looked very clean.
yeah, and like it looks interesting, and it's dealing with Max Caulfield again, so like the main character from the first game, and she has some new powers where she can like go between different dimensions to try to save a friend again. Instead of like doing like reverse time stuff, it seems like she can go through dimensions as well as maybe reverse time. I'm not sure. But it's called Double Exposure, which is a really clever name. Um, yeah, we don't know if this is coming to other things, I believe, but because X yeah, it says okay, see developer website for other platforms.
Yeah. A lot
So
of them say, because they're not going to say, oh, it's coming for PS5,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like yeah,
So,
Windows PC, Series X and S, and then probably PS5 and stuff like that. And I don't think it'd be on Switch, but like I think the others are technically on Switch because they don't
yeah.
run a whole lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mecha Break again. The next big one is Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. Look really, really nice. I was watching a side by side though of the old
Yeah, so
game
was I.
versus the new game, and like it's night and day. But at the same time, though, I kind of miss how everything looked like yellow and green, because like that was the whole point. Is like, oh, you're going stealthy in the jungle, so like it's very like there's a filter over the whole thing, which made it look really
Yeah,
really cool. Whereas this is just like, hey, we're realistic, and like that's a choice, that's a style choice or whatever. But I think it's gonna be really good, and who knows, maybe this will actually get me to play Snake Eater, because I hate Metal Gear Solid 3. That is my least favorite Metal Gear.
I mean, I own the Metal Gear Solid collection, which had Metal Gear, the two NES games, um,
Are you talking about the
and
PS3 copy thing or the
no,
legacy
I own
thing?
the yeah, the one that had like some of the so that game's in there,
Okay.
but I have never finished the what is it, Metal Gear for PlayStation ever. So
Okay.
I want to do that first. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it looked really good. I watched the side by side as well. I was like, man, they've done a lot of work on this. So
Yeah, they definitely have. Yeah, I have the Legacy collection for PS3. So like it came with a download for Metal Gear Solid VR missions in 1, I believe, and then it came with like the HDs for the others, and then 4. Um I know it's not on here, but I know Metal Gear Solid, I think Volume 2 I think is coming out or was announced, right?
yeah,
Um and so that should hopefully carry 4, cuz like 4 I guess doesn't run well on PS3 even though it's a PS3 game. Um so it'd be cool to have that game actually running well. Um Mixtape looks interesting. Uh it was just like very much a story driven game through a bunch of old music.
yeah,
So Devo, Roxy Music, Lush, Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, just a lot of different types of soundtracks of the generation, and it's supposed to be something that's supposed to make you feel something. So yeah. Stalker 2, which is a trailer for that. I don't care. Um I don't remember this, but Winter Burrow, cozy survival experience inspired by the love of nature. So it's another PC, Series X, and regular Xbox thing. Play it day one on on Game Pass.
yeah.
Um,
That one was kind of crazy. At the very end, like the friend that she was like, "Oh, it's so good to see you," and it got picked up by an owl. I was like, "Oh, that's seems like a Disney movie."
oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it's very style. Like it looks like a picture book.
Yeah,
Like it looks like it looks of what I think Winnie the Pooh would look like. Um,
just not being taken by
yeah,
owls.
yeah, exactly. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers revealed. Um, looks fine, looks cool. I don't know. It was kind of just I guess there's a lot of stuff right at the end, but it's very much like a Sekiro Souls-ish game, it seems. Like very much I'm parrying here, I'm parrying here. And yeah, it looks fine. It's just something that I don't really care about. Um but that's pretty much it, besides just their live games: Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online, Diablo 4, and Sea of Thieves and Starfield, and World of Warcraft, I guess. They all got updates or expansions coming out here soon. Um, and the World of Warcraft one, I forget, is this an expansion for the classic? I forget. Um oh yeah, the hardware things right at the bottom.
Yeah,
So yeah, the 3 new Xboxes like you talked about. So there are those as well. Um I keep looking at these trailers for Fallout 76 and like maybe someday, like, but I just don't want to, like, I hear it's really good now,
oh yeah,
but like
it
I just don't want to invest the time in it.
it was a game that was on the verge of just being canceled, and,
And then
you
Microsoft bought
know
them.
yeah, and then they bought them, and then the show really helped with it as well,
Yeah.
and I think they're really, really coming back. Now, lesson learned, don't screw people over on things of like, oh yeah, you get your own server and you can only pick who's playing on there, and then everyone's playing on there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think overall the show was pretty decent. Um, we still have not heard from Nintendo yet, but I would not be surprised if this or next month they do something. And they're going to do another one in the fall. All three of them will do something in the fall.
Yeah.
Um, but we didn't talk about the PlayStation one, which is fine. I just was like, I felt these were much better
Yeah,
without going
PlayStation
into it.
PlayStation had some things. The main thing that I got from PlayStation was Astrobot is getting a
Yeah,
game, and that looks really really fun. And I think it's a $60 game. I think they even knocked it down a little bit, but there was like a digital deluxe with some other stuff.
right.
Um, but yeah, that was Summer Game Fest 2024. Um, Again, we didn't really talk about Ubisoft, but a lot of Ubisoft was just, hey, you like what's it, Fallout? Man. Hey, you like Prince of Persia? You like Star Wars? You like Assassin's Creed? Here are those. And they announced Sands of Time, but they
Yeah,
didn't show anything. But they showed those other two, Prince of Persia. They showed some other stuff like Riders Republic and some other updates and stuff for their games, but not enough to really do more of this episode because it's late. Um, but we appreciate you being here. If you've stayed this
yeah.
long, write in the comments what something easy and something like I know that you have actually listened to. What should we make them say in the comments? Just the homework to make sure that they're actually paying attention.
They can say any of the games that you said. I really don't care about this game. We had some pretty big ones that you were like, I really don't care.
Yeah. Write in
Like
the
Dragon Age.
comment. Yeah, write in the comments. Dragon Age is bad. You write that right in the comments. If you don't want to like talk bad about a game, then you can say Gears of War E Day looks good.
There you go.
Then I know you're listening. You can also do comments, I believe, on Spotify and stuff, which is where we're at, as well as other podcast services. We're on a bunch of different things that you can find. If you go to our link tree, you can find a bunch of different places, and it's really crazy. We're on like Pandora. We're on so many things that we didn't
Oh
even
yeah, it's
know.
like 12 different services now.
Yeah, it's way too many. So many that honestly, we appreciate if you listen at any of these things, but we really only pay attention to iTunes and Spotify just because it's hard to pay attention to a
Oh yeah.
random podcast service over here. So, if you're able to, I recommend that you migrate to Spotify because then you can do certain like little perks there. You can add us you can subscribe over there. You can also um, there's should be like some Q&A stuff, like you can ask us questions, you can post stuff on there, and we are also on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/GetAgaming, you can find the podcast there. Podcasts generally arrive on YouTube on Fridays, and then Wednesdays on audio services. So we got some pretty cool things in store here soon. By the time you're listening to this, one of those probably already happened. But yeah, we're hoping to see more cool things. If Go ahead and go look at the previous thing that released on our channel. Go look at that. Go watch that because it's supposed to be cool. There might be two of those. Go look at those. Embargoes. So we can't really talk much, but look at those. But Also, you should go watch our discussions from the last episode. We talked about on the second half. If you go to YouTube, you can just click on a timestamp. It's a lot easier. But we talk about Cryptmaster. We just talk about more of Ben's opinions about that. And then we also have the little short 5-minute video review as well. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff in store for the future, and we look forward to doing more of this. And we hope you listen, or else. But I have nothing else to say. I'm rambling at this point because it is 11:10 p.m. over here. Ben, do you have anything else to say to lovely people?
Just to get at it.
Get at it.